Okay, well, it's that time of the year. We're in late winter, early spring. Really cold out this morning. It's like 3 degrees. It's time to start thinking about the fireplace. So as soon as the weather breaks, I plan on getting this fireplace started. The cabin is really cold right now. And I live here. I just hunker down in the bedroom at night and get up in the day and build a bunch of fires. I got a wood burner in the basement and the potbelly here in the cabin. And I've just built the fire in the potbelly. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's going yet. Just barely. I mean, it's just starting to burn. So I don't have any heat out of it yet. The other one I started before I went and had coffee with my mom this morning. Anyway, it's time to move the table. The fireplace, as you can see there, the plastic is the fireplace, and that's why it's so cold in here, because there's a big old gaping hole covered with plastic, and it's only 3 degrees out. So the fireplace will be in my kitchen. I think back then the fireplace was mainly used for a way to feed people, and that's what it'll be used for here as well. So the fireplace is going to be here where the plastic is after I move that cabinet. The kitchen stove is going to go over there where the pink bags are in the corner. That'll be a wood-fired, coal-fired kitchen stove. Okay, so it's February 25th, 2021. And I've got a living room, or excuse me, kitchen full of stone, a stack of lime, and a stack of mortar. This is a type N, which is a very weak mortar to start with. And then if I add lime to it, that'll make it even weaker. Because back in the day, this thing was constructed with just mud. I mean, literally, go outside, dig a hole, add some water to it. That's how it was constructed. I mean, it even had little rocks, it had weeds, it had a little bit of like roots growing through it. So it literally, back in the 1800s when it was built with mud. So I need to try to keep my mortar mix as weak as possible, because you never want your mortar to exceed the strength of the stone or brick or whatever, masonry. If you do, the mortar will squeeze the stone and cause it to break eventually. So I'm just taking all the precaution I can to do this the best I can. So the fireplace, again, is that opening there. And my goal is going to be by the end of the week to have this thing out of the kitchen and up into the what do you call that up there? The loft, excuse me. Anyway, so I got all these stones moved in the house, and then I've got another trailer full, and that's my 48-inch damper. The opening's going to be about 48 inches wide. I have another load here ready for me, and a ton of sand behind the truck. I have plenty of stones over there yet, so I'm hoping with what I have over here already. And I have some more over there past the tarp. There's still a pile of stone over there as well. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna have enough stone. I don't know, but what I have here definitely looks like there's enough to get me out of the first floor. So that's a plus. And then when I get up on to the loft area, the size of the chimney will gradually get smaller. So it'll be a lot smaller up there, hopefully a lot less stone. So anyway, I'm getting ready to do it here in a day or so. Okay, so here I am at the end of day 2. I've used about a half a ton of sand and quite a few rocks. Now, mind you, this is 2 days, and it looks like I've got nothing done. So there we go. That's all I've got done in 2 days. That is about, I don't know, 20 inches or so all the way through. It's stone all the way through. So the firebox will be stone just like they were back then, all the way through, and it's stone all the way to the outside of the house. So I did that so I can't get any heat transfer through the back of the firebox into the logs. Anyway, it sure doesn't look like I've got much done, but my back hurts like I did. So anyway, I'll add this to my video. Okay, so I finally made it to the part that I'm excited about, and that is the arch. So how that's done is I'll take these wood forms and brace them up across here, 2 of them. So I'll stack them, one in the front and one in the back. Across here, use 2x4s for legs to go down to the floor, and then build the stone across the arch. And I have my stones selected already. Most of those were already the arch at the original fireplace. I had to add a couple because the opening's a little bit wider. Now, arches go back to long before we used metal to go across the top of a fireplace. before there even was metal, they used an arch because the arch will span the opening and it'll transfer the weight to the outside edges. So no longer, once the arch is done and set, no longer is the weight in the middle, but it spans out to the outside, so the weight will be sitting here and here. And it's an arch, so it can't, as long as it can't push this whole structure out, it will always stay that arch. And I've had good luck with almost everything I do is with arches. The pizza oven, the basement opening, it's one less thing I gotta buy. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera to time lapse again and make all my pieces and get this all put in. This will take a lot longer than most of the things I've done here so far. So if I can just get the arch done today and the stones around the outside of the arch build up to there, I'll be happy. So anyway, here we go. Well, it's a beautiful day out, and I've been working on the fireplace for the last 4 or 5 days. So let's go in, and it's not complete, so look, love. My handle was all burnt out on the front door. Anyway, it's not complete, so give me grace, but it's coming. I still have a heck of a stack of stones on the floor here, but there you go. So far, I've got the arch done. I've got the stones over the arch. This arch I just finished yesterday, I think. Maybe day before yesterday. So I'm gonna give it probably 3 or 4 more days. I probably won't take out that form until I know it's good and set. So it probably would support it now. I just don't want to take any chances. The more weight I get on top of it, the less likely it is to push it apart. But again, I don't think that's going to happen, but why take a chance? Firebox is all... The Firebox is all done just like they would have done so many years ago. Except for I did put a damper in it. I don't have the back of the Firebox completely done. So that's looking outside now. But I did put a damper up in there, so I'll have that. The opening is going to be big. The opening's probably going to be in the 42 wide, 44 or so tall. I'm going to put a crane on it for cooking. So I need it. I still have so much to do. This thing has been probably more work than I expected, and I'm tired, and I might wind up taking a day off. So anyway, just thought I would take a second. I shot a couple other video clips. I might put them together for you so that you can see. Now my cook stove's going to go here, so it's time to consider where that vent's going to go through the wall there into the chimney, and I'm going to put a separate flue in for it. So I still got a ton of work to do. I'll probably be working on this thing for a couple months, just because I'm going to take some time off. And then of course I got my new puppy yesterday. Wasn't expecting that. Anyway, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I've said today I was going to relax. Well, that didn't work out for me. I didn't work real hard, but I put one more course of stone on the top. And I think it's time to take out that wooden support for the arch. The mortar that's in those stone are pretty solid now. So I believe it's going to hold with no problem at all. So it makes me a little nervous, don't get me wrong, but I think it's time to take it out. So I'm going to do just that. So let me get a couple things out of the way. And then we will. This is my bench for my table. And I should feel bad about that, but I really don't. Because I keep my mindset, if pioneers were coming across the country and they had nothing to stand on, they would have been standing on the bench for their kitchen table. So I did. So basically when I put this together, I left these 2x4s up off the floor a little bit so that when I take out these screws, the whole thing's going to want to drop. Now I got some wedges underneath this one that I'll have to drive out before I take those screws out. But once I do that, it should just fall straight down. I sort of chipped out any more that was along here the other day on both sides so that there's nothing keeping it from coming down. Let's just try to take the screws out first and see what happens. There really shouldn't be any weight on this at all now. It should just be sitting there. I'm excited to see it. I know that I'll have to clean up a little bit of mortar that's on here. But that's okay. There you go. Ta-da! And boy, that makes me happy. So now there's some mortar along this edge here that I'll have to scrape off. Again, my mortar mix is kind of soft, so this should come off still kind of easy. Even if this was full strength mortar, we're only out a couple days and the temperatures outside are terribly cold and it's not all that warm in here. So let me get a different chisel. There you go, let me shoot my hammer here. I just need to scrape all this off of here. find something that might work a little better. I got all kinds of chisels lying around here, but I took some out to my truck too. Give you a look at what I'm doing here. So basically I'm just taking off the mortar that I used for leveling this. Since the stones are not straight, a bed of mortar helps me set the stones right. So I'm just going to scrape off that edge like these pieces here. You don't want to leave these on here. That just helped me get that stone set where I wanted it, so that the part that you can see on the outside will look the best. Now they're sort of just pushing against each other now, and they'll span that opening. So anyway, I'm very pleased with the way it looks. Okay, it's Tuesday, March the 8th, 2021. And I've almost got the fireplace built up into the loft area. And for the last 2 days, I've been working outside. So let me show you real quick what I've got done here. Of course, the fireplace is going to go up into the top there. This is the bottom part of it. And my kitchen stove's going to be here. So I need to, at the same time, I need to get me a vent coming through the wall. Now this looks awful close to the wall, but it's okay. I'm going to put a heat shield here on this. That kitchen stove really doesn't produce a lot of heat in the pipes anyway, because it's so well, the heat transfers so well into the cast iron of the cook stove that it doesn't, those pipes really don't get very hot. So anyway, and this will look, mark my word, almost exactly like they used to do back then. So anyway, the damper is in the fireplace. You can see it here, open right now. And if we come around to the other side, I'll show you up in the bottom. The firebox is all done. The damper is open now. And then I just have a handle here that I just have to drop shut there to close the damper. I've just kind of been working it to make sure that I don't get any mud down in the track. So the firebox is indeed a stone firebox, just like they would have done back in the 1800s. I just made this thing solid all the way through, so the bulk of the heat will go through these stone in the back. I don't think I've showed this yet, but this is a bridge marker. So my buddy that had the hardware store gave me this. This was a bridge marker, Samuel By here. This was his grandfather. So he was one of the county commissioners at the time that helped raise the money or whatever to fund this bridge project. The bridge is gone. When they tore it down, they gave the family the marker. He gave it to me, and I'm going to use it for a fireback. So the bulk of the heat will be absorbed into this iron instead of the stone. That will help me preserve the stone. Plus, what a piece of history for my community, too. So anyway, I'm just glad that it wasn't ever destroyed, and I get to... Okay, so I'm just finishing up the top to use it inside my fireplace. So anyway, the face here of the fireplace, I kind of have to go outside to lay them now because it's not enough room. But I'm going to cut a stone, and I thought it's kind of neat, so I want to try to do it on camera. It doesn't mean it's going to cut right, because of course you're at the mercy of where the stone wants to break, but yet I've got this tool here that I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe it was probably used for this type of thing. It kind of looks like an axe, but yet it's got a point on it. It's either a stonemason's hammer, or it's something for blacksmithing, but it works really well. And I found it at the hardware store again, in brand new old stock. Never seen anything like it in the store anywhere today, so I'm guessing it's probably a stonemason's hammer. So anyway, I'm gonna try to cut down a stone. See if I put you there. I tried to make a little platform to set this thing on because it quite shakes the floor pretty hard when I'm smacking it. So I'm going to show you first off what I'm going to try to do. This stone is about 19 inches long, and I would like to have it somewhere down around that 15 inch, so I'm going to take this piece off. So I should be able to take that hammer and score this and just keep hitting it repeatedly until I get it to pretty much break right where I want it to. So that's going to be the plan. I just got to get it to sit right. That should be good, as long as that camera doesn't shake too hard and mess up the film. So anyway, what I'm going to do is just continuously smack this thing, getting harder and harder. I'm trying to get it to develop a crack right there. And depending on what it sounds like, I'll decide when it's time to smack it a little harder. There we go. Perfect cut. Now that's cut off square, right about where I can joint this. You'll never see any of this. So that is a perfect cut, exactly the way I was hoping it would be. So now I'm going to lay this stone on the far left side. It'll take me over to about the center of here, and then maybe one more stone in there, and I should be able to get that sealed off, and then I can be continuously working from outside then. Anyway, let's just hope that didn't shake too bad. Alright, now I'm actually standing inside the fireplace. Now basically what I do from out here is just get it to sit down. I don't move it around much until I get to come in there and see what it looks like from in there, because ultimately that's the only place you're going to be able to see. It's close, but I want to drive it down a little bit if I can. That joint's a little bit bigger than I want. So if you wiggle it, it kind of works that mortar out from underneath of it until it sits down tight, or as tight as you want it anyway. And that certainly looks good to me.